What's up everyone, I'm Zohair and today I'll be sharing with you everything you need to know to get a 100% scholarship at University of Toronto for your undergrad studies. Not only this, I'll be telling you the exact steps you need to take to apply and become a recipient of this scholarship. Are you ready? Okay, let's get started. Firstly, I want to warn you that if you are a Canadian student, I'm sorry but this video is not for you, as I'll be covering the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship program which only international students can apply for. But don't worry, University of Toronto has a slightly better scholarship program for Canadian students and with a similar application process to Lester B. Pearson Scholarship called the National Scholarship Program, which fully funds the studies of 15 Canadian students to UFT every year. You can find out more about its application, eligibility criteria and deadlines on UFT's National Scholarship page. I'll give a link to it in the description below. With that being said, let's talk about the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship. In simple terms, the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship is an annual, fully funded scholarship awarded by University of Toronto to incoming international students for their undergrad studies at UFT. When I got to know about the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship, I wondered why it was called the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship and why not just UFT International Scholarship. This is because the scholarship is named to honor Canada's 14th Prime Minister Lester Bowles Pearson, who was also a UFT graduate. He won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1957 for organizing a UN peacekeeping force to resolve the Suez Canal crisis. Maybe after you become a recipient of this award, you'll be expected to know who he was. What's interesting about this scholarship is that it's open for all the majors at UFT. It's not just for CS students or law students, it's open for all the areas of studies. So from the 700 undergraduate programs UFT has, you can choose any program you're planning to pursue and apply for this scholarship. Now that UFT made it so open, you can guess how competitive it will be. It is UFT's most competitive scholarship for international students because every year only 37 students from all over the world receive this scholarship. Let me put the competitiveness of this scholarship in perspective. This scholarship is given to at least one student from every faculty at UFT. So every faculty will have at least one Pearson Scholar in their department, which means that for each and every major, students are competing against top students from all over the world who are interested in that major for the few spots available. For instance, you are interested in pursuing business studies at UFT and you apply for the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship. Now, your profile is competing against all the students who are interested in pursuing business studies at UFT for the few spots for business students. Yeah, this scholarship is extremely competitive, but it is worth giving a shot, because the benefits you get from this scholarship are honestly life-changing. This scholarship covers almost everything a student pays to study abroad. Lester B. Pearson Scholarship package includes your tuition fee, living expenses, book allowance, meals, transportation, and any other incidental costs for all 4 years of your undergrad studies. Basically, you just need money to apply to UFT, and if you receive this scholarship, it's a done deal. Next 4 years, you study at UFT for free. Okay, let's see who is eligible to apply for this scholarship and who isn't. But before that, let me caution you that the eligibility criteria I am about to share are for students who will be starting their undergrad studies in the fall of 2022. So if you are starting your studies in the fall of 2023, 2024 or later, I recommend you check the up-to-date eligibility criteria on UFT's Lester B. International Scholarships page. I'll give a link to it in the description below. First, the applicant needs to be an international student and not a Canadian national. International students studying at Canadian high schools are also eligible to apply. Second, the applicant needs to be in their final year of secondary school, which is grade 12. And if a student has graduated, they can only apply if they didn't graduate before June 2021, which means that they should have graduated after May 2021. Third, the applicant must be a first entry graduate and shouldn't have started studying at any other post-secondary institution. Yeah, so these are the eligibility criteria, and if you are meeting all three of them, you can and you should apply for the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship. But now the question is, how do you apply? The scholarship application process is quite simple but unique in the sense that you do not apply for the scholarship directly, but rather your school has to nominate you for the scholarship, and the school can only nominate one person for one academic year based on a few factors which I will discuss in a while. Even if a school feels that there are 10 brilliant students in their school who can win the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship, there will be only one student nominee from one school for 1 year. Now, you might be thinking of changing your school because there are students more accomplished than you. No, you need to work hard and show your school that you are an ideal student for this scholarship. But how? We'll discuss it in a while. Now, if you are an aspiring Lester B. Pearson scholar, you will be in one of the two conditions I am about to mention. First, your school has no idea about the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship, or they know about the scholarship but have never nominated any student for the scholarship. In this case, you need to approach a school counselor, and if you don't have one, approach a school's headmaster or principal, inform them everything about this scholarship, tell them that you'd like to get nominated, and in order for you to get nominated, the school needs to submit an application to UFT, which is available on UFT's Lester B. Pearson Scholarship page, so that University of Toronto can verify the school's identity and give them access to nominate a student. When I was applying for the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship, my school had no counselor and no idea about the scholarship. So I informed my school principal about this, and on September 17th, 2020, I sent him an email and asked him to submit the school participation form. Here's the email I wrote. I'm planning to apply to University of Toronto, and to be considered for their 100% scholarship program, the school has to nominate a student first. Only after nomination, the university will send a scholarship application form to be filled. Before nominating the student, the school, counselor or headmaster needs to fill a form to be verified by the University of Toronto. Sir, I request you to please fill this form so our school can get verified at the earliest, and we can then proceed to the nomination process. Here, I pasted a statement of University of Toronto. In order to nominate an outstanding student for the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship at University of Toronto, we require additional information about your school. Please complete the form below and submit your school for verification. Once submitted, you will be sent a confirmation email at the address you provide. You will then be sent instructions for nominating your student directly. Form link. Sir, if you have any questions, please let me know. In my case, it took University of Toronto more than a month to verify the school. So I would encourage you to ask your school authority to fill this form as soon as possible, ideally in early September, so the school gets verified and can then proceed with the nomination process. Now, if you are in the second category of students, that is, your school knows about the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship and has previously nominated a student from the school. In this case, you don't need to worry about asking your school to submit the school participation form because they are already verified by UFT. You just need to ask your school counselor or headmaster about getting nominated, because once they decide who to nominate, they will nominate that person without you having to worry about explaining anything to them. But don't just tell them and rely on them. You need to follow up with them so they don't miss the nomination deadline, because they would already know the nomination process but they can miss the nomination deadline. The school nomination deadline this year is November 30th, 2021, so ensure that your school is verified and has completed the student nomination before this deadline. After your school has nominated you, you will receive an email from Lester B. Pearson International Scholarship acknowledging your nomination and giving you all the necessary information and instructions to complete the rest of the scholarship application. Now, the next steps for the scholarship application process will be the same for both categories of students, because your school has completed the first step to nominate you for the scholarship. The second step is to apply to University of Toronto by creating an OUAC account and submitting your OUAC application before the deadline. If you'd like to know how to apply to University of Toronto for your undergrad studies without missing out on anything, I have already created a detailed step-by-step video for this, where I also share my best tips to maximize your chances of admission. You can check the link to it in the top right corner and in the description below this video. Here, I want to reiterate one thing that I have already said in that video, which is that even though the student OUAC application deadline is December 15th every year, make sure you are submitting your OUAC application as soon as possible, ideally by November 7th, to increase your chances of admission, and also because spaces of popular programs may fill out before application deadlines. Another thing to keep in mind while filling the OUAC application is to carefully choose your programs and rank them properly, because you will be considered for the Pearson Scholarship for your first choice program only. In the program choices section of your OUAC application, you can choose and rank 3 UFT programs you want to apply for. And if you receive the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship, it will be valid only for your first choice program. You will not be able to change it afterwards. For instance, you apply for CS at all the 3 campuses of UFT. Your first choice is St. George, second is Scarborough, and third is Mississauga. If you become a Lester B. Pearson scholar, you can't say, no, I want to go to Scarborough for CS. In this case, you'll have to study at St. George if you want to be a Lester B. Pearson scholar, because it was your first choice. Therefore, choose your first choice program carefully and double check it before submitting. After you have submitted your OUAC application, UFT will send you an email acknowledging the submission of your OUAC application and providing you with the login details to activate your Join UFT Portals account. Once your UFT account gets activated, you need to go back to the email you received after your school nominated you for the scholarship. In that email, you will find the link to the student scholarship application, which you can now access through your activated login details. Now that you are able to access the student scholarship application, the third step is to complete the student scholarship application and submit it before January 17th, 2022. Last year this deadline was January 18th, 2021. So if you are watching this video in 2022 or later, I'd recommend you to again check the up-to-date deadlines on UFT's Lester B. Pearson Scholarship page. If you have completed all these steps, you have successfully applied for the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship at University of Toronto. Now, a lot of you might be wondering what exactly is asked in the student scholarship application. Honestly, I don't know what questions you will be asked for the year 2022, 2023 or 2024. I'll tell you all the questions that I had to answer to complete the scholarship application for the fall of 2021, and there is a very high probability that you will be asked the same or similar questions for your scholarship application. There were 4 sections in the application. First, academic objectives section, which had one question. Describe your academic objectives and indicate how these are appropriate to your long-range goals. Please indicate specifically how a bachelor's degree from the University of Toronto will contribute to your achieving your longer-range goals. 100-word maximum. Second, self-letter of reference section, which had one question. The students who are nominated for the Lester B. Pearson International Scholarship are students who have demonstrated exceptional academic achievement and creativity, who are accepted as leaders within their school, and who have the potential to contribute to the global community in the future. They can be distinguished from other students who may have equally high academic results by virtue of their breadth of interest, intellectual energy, and impact on the life of their school and community. Write a letter of reference for yourself in the third person describing how the applicant you meets these criteria. The letter should refer to the specific achievements and experiences. It may also comment on any weaknesses. 300-word maximum. Third, essay section, which required a one long answer question. Describe a personal life experience that has had particular significance for you and highlight the reasons it was significant, whether it had an impact on others, and any insights or understandings you gained from it. 800-word maximum. Fourth, additional questions section, which had 2 questions. First, if you are not awarded a Lester B. Pearson International Scholarship, what are your plans for the next 4 years? 100-word maximum. And second question was related to the family income, where I was not required to write anything but answer it in numerical values. Okay, so I know what UFT will ask me, but how should I answer these questions and how should I make them stand out? There are certain attributes and achievements which UFT looks for in your answers, and in the second question of the student scholarship application, UFT actually laid it all out. Unlike the UFT International Scholar Award, which almost covered 60% of my total cost of attendance to UFT, the deciding factor for the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship is not your academic performance, because there is no one determiner for this scholarship. There are several factors that needs to be considered alongside high academic performance for you to become a recipient of this scholarship. These factors include your background, financial need, leadership skills, community involvement, future potential, intellectual rigor, passion, the impact you had in school and in your community, etc. These factors or criteria help the school to decide who to nominate for the scholarship and the scholarship committee to decide who to grant the scholarship, and the only way you can demonstrate them is through your extracurricular involvements. UFT mentions that what distinguishes Lester B. Pearson scholars from other top scoring students is their breadth of interest, intellectual energy, and the impact they had on the life of their school and community. So, UFT doesn't just want to see extracurricular involvement, they want to see extracurriculars in the areas you are interested in and are passionate about, which means that your extracurricular activities should be related to the programs you are applying to. For example, if I am interested in pursuing law, some great extracurriculars to show this can be engaging in debate competitions, MUNs, leadership position in student council, etc. Second, they want to see your commitment for the things you are interested in and you care about. Your commitment to your extracurricular activities shows in the time you spend doing these activities and how far you have gone doing these activities. It's not enough to participate in MUNs or other public speaking events once in a while. You should have engaged in these activities for a long time, ideally for a number of years or even throughout high school. Moreover, they expect you to show your growth. For example, maybe you first participated in an in-school MUN, then you made your way up to state, national or even international conferences. Third, they want to see how you have made an impact on your school or any community through your extracurriculars. From your past contributions to people around you, they will see your future potential to become a leader in the modern world. So it's not enough to be the president of the student council. What did you do? Did you bring major changes in the school? What policies you implemented and how it impacted your community? Now, this might seem a lot, and it is, but big things never come easy. Imagine doing your whole undergrad education in one of the best universities in the world without paying a cent to them. You need to start putting in the work, no matter whichever position you are in right now. If you are in middle school, don't think that you have got time. Identify your interests and start working towards them. If you are in high school, utilize your time and take up every opportunity to engage in your interests and contribute to the community. To get a better idea of who gets accepted, I recommend you to see the profiles of previous Lester B. Pearson scholars, which you can check out on the Lester B. International Scholarship page on UFT's website. In the next video, I'll be sharing my experience with the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship and the mistakes I made, which you should definitely avoid if you are planning to apply. So do subscribe the channel and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss that video. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. In case you missed my previous videos, I recommend you to watch them as well so you don't miss out on anything. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Goodbye and take care.
Oh